Hello, lovely people. Hope you're well and welcome back to another combat catch up. Joined as always by the legends themselves, Jamie Phillips and Luke Tanner. Gents, how are you doing this evening?
Doing great.
All good.
There's a few things to talk about. Is there finally competition, viable competition for the UFC? I mean, obviously we have one championship, but over this side of the world and in the USA, not really as big as they are in Asia, obviously. However, the PFL have now officially acquired Bellator. And now it's the worst kept secret in MMA over the last few months, but we are here now. So I've got to ask, and I'll start with you first, Jay. Are they currently a legitimate threat to the UFC?
Well, I don't know because Bellator wasn't, were they?
No.
I don't think UFC. Do you know what? I don't think UFC look at other MMA companies as competition. I think they look at things like American football, soccer for the American people. Football, entertainment. I don't think they directly look at another MMA brand as competition. Really, I mean, I think it's the only. I mean, One FC. They've never really been bothered about One FC so much. I'm not. I don't. It'd be. It's hard to say if they're competition or not because they take them seriously, but it depends what. It depends what they do. Will they put on? Will PFL? It depends what PFL want to do. Will they start to be, play some dirty tactics and try and do events the same time as UFC do? Like, would they try and do a pay-per-view the same night UFC do a fight night sort of thing to try and get more audience for a pay-per-view instead of people watching the UFC fight night? Stuff like that. It depends what tactics they use. But for UFC's point of view and TKO and Dana and all that, I don't think they're losing any sleep over it personally.
Probably not. Luke, I'll come to you with a slightly different question. If they're not a threat now, how long will it take for them to potentially become a threat?
I think it's going to take, say, at least 10 to 15 years, just purely based on the dominance the UFC have had in the market. I think it's going to take a lot of time for PFL and the Bellator merger to even have some sort of competition at all. Like Dana's probably sat there thinking, all right, cool. No problem. No problem. I think the only issue for the UFC is that if Bellator does well and they're going to have UFC have big names coming out of contract and they look over and go, PFL looks all right over there. Maybe I'll give that a go. I think that's when Dana and the UFC will be worried about that then, about when their top stars cross over. Could you imagine if Izzy at the end of his contract goes to PFL, if Conor went to PFL afterwards? That's when it'd be an issue. Until then, it's going to be very interesting to see how they do it. I think I disagree with Jamie. I don't think if the PFL are smart, they won't counter program it with the UFC because they're not going to get viewers. If they're smart, they'll program it so they'll be like 1 week will be a fight night, 1 week will be PFL, 1 week will be fight night, 1 week will be PFL. But I think the way PFL are going to do it, it's going to be different than the UFC. So I think that's what might attract them new audiences. That it's going to be different because I think all three of us can agree that sometimes the UFC is very oversaturated with events. Very oversaturated because there's been some cards this year, the fight nights that have been not even worth staying up for. I think the PFL are going to make it more quality rather than quantity.
But
go on, Joe.
The thing is, though, I understand what you're saying about the guys going over, but Dana lost big guys to go other companies before, and you don't really bother him.
Yeah,
I mean, and the thing with MMA, it's the casual fan base. Now, MMA still hasn't got a massive casual fan base because there's still a lot of people that don't like MMA because they brought up with boxing or stuff like that, and they think it's too barbaric and stuff. So a casual fan base in MMA is not that big right now. But if there is a casual fan base, they're gonna know UFC and UFC fighters. You know, they played UFC games. They would know, your Conor McGregor's and stuff like that. So I don't know how they PFL go about it by putting on show. I think if they want to do quality over quantity, the problem is they need to get the name out there before they can probably do that. That's the issue because UFC is pretty much every weekend, don't it? I don't know if there's ever a weekend without a show on or a contender series or something going on. So if I'm PFL, I'm looking into the YouTube market. If they're central about this, they should be looking into social media more and going onto the YouTube market and on putting on free events. Putting on their versions of fight nights on YouTube for people to go and watch for free around the world, anywhere around the world. If you've got an internet connection, you can watch YouTube. So I think they should do something like that to build up their profile. And then, try and attack Slap. It might sound stupid, but that's still a Dana product.
Yeah.
Try and outdo that. And I think that's the way forward for them because, we have Bellator over here, but it's on BBC iPlayer, ain't it?
Yeah.
I don't think it's live. I think it's like...
It's not. It used to be on Sky Sports, but that didn't last for long either.
Yeah, because the producers, the people that run Sky Sports don't like MMA. That's why they never took UFC. They can't stand it. That's why they eventually got rid of Bellator. That's why there's not that casual fan base, Cal. Like there probably should be now with a sport that's 30 years old.
Yeah, just context for anyone who's outside of the UK when we speak about like Sky Sports. That Sky Sports and formerly BT Sports, now TNT Sports, are the two biggest sort of broadcasters when it comes to sports. But if you actually look at the landscape at the moment, TNT Sport have UFC, they've got WWE, they've got a lot of Premier League games. They solely have the Champions League, Europa League, and the Conference League.
Yeah, biggest sports channel.
If I'm not mistaken, they have like Syria and I don't know. No, Sky Sports has Bundesliga now, and Sky Sports has F1. They've got boxing as well.
They have all the Fury fights and everything.
I fully agree with what you're saying regarding them tapping into the YouTube space because I think Game Bread Boxing's doing that Masvidal's promotion, and they are seeing good numbers.
That was brilliant. It was fantastic.
I do have some more news on it though. I do have some more news.
There was like 28,000 people watching live when that event was kicking off.
But and I was like, I think last time I saw it was on like 600,000 views. But at the same time, surely Sky Sports must be looking at this thinking, we need to start clawing back some of the different sports avenues that are going on. Do you not think they touch it at all? I mean, they are now starting to tap into MMA a bit. They've been the Leon Edwards interview, Paddy Pimblett, Tom Aspinall.
Oh, they're happy.
They'll even look at it.
They're happy interviewing them, but they don't show any of the highlights when they're interviewing them, do they?
I don't think they're allowed to, though.
Oh, they might not be allowed to. But Sky, let's face it, Sky could afford a couple of highlights.
Yeah, of course.
I think there's some other news on it as well about how they're going to sort of do it. So I'm just reading something that BT Sport did. PFL said the Bellator brand will continue and the PFL champions versus Bellator champions will take place in 2024. The co-founder said the PFL is now a global powerhouse in MMA and said that our Bellator acquisition turbocharges PFL's mission to create to innovate the sport and become an industry co-leader. They said that PFL have attempted to innovate the mixed martial arts space since its launch in 2017, opting for a league-based system with points gained in each fight before a season-ending playoffs with a prize of $1 million. They said that PFL and Bellator are hoping to rival the UFC, having joined forces and now showcase that they are 30% comprised of the fighters who are top 25 independently world ranked in their weight classes. And then they said that they also plan to launch a Bellator International Champion Series consisting of 8 fight events each year hosted in major cities worldwide. I think they said that they wanted to have 2 championship fights per card. Then they said that their combined PFL and Bellator fight rosters are second to none.
Yeah.
I just looked at their roster; it's awful.
Yeah, and I think they said that within the PFL, joining the PFL League season, PFL pay-per-view, Super Fight, PFL Challenger, and PFL International Leagues.
See, the thing is
Yeah,
that-
and then also, I don't think people have realized about it. A company owned by Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund have bought a minority stake in PFL in August.
So that's where they got the money from. To
basically-
but I think PIF have got a stake in UFC as well at the same time.
Yeah, they have. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they got a stake in
fingers in all
everything.
the pies. Pause.
yeah, yeah.
I'm waiting for PIF to get a bit of my mortgage. Got everything else right now.
Shout out to Chris Brack, shout out to Theo, shout out to Calvin, and everyone else in the comments. Good comment here from Chris. I think Theo touched on this with DAZN as well, but Amazon Prime might be a market or BBC iPlayer again, something that doesn't need a large payment subscription to build a fan base, something that most people have as well. If I'm not mistaken, I think one are on Amazon Prime, so I don't know if Amazon Prime will go for PFL then.
PFL have already got a good distribution like broadcast deal. I think someone said DAZN and ESPN. So
I don't think it worked, but there's two brands within PFL though. There's PFL and then PFL Europe, because you know when Cedric Doumbé fought in France, the American fans couldn't watch it apparently, which is crazy to me.
That needs to stop.
Could be interesting to see how that works.
Weird.
I think with DAZN, the problem with DAZN, no one watches it. You know, that's why the boxing on it's getting crap views, because no one's watching DAZN, because no one wants to watch. A lot of people don't want to watch combat sport through an app, and that's the problem. They want to see it in glorious HD on their screen. So I don't know what they're going to do. And if Bellator's going to stay a separate brand, and PFL are a separate brand, so they have two organizations, why are they having the champion versus champion fights?
Yeah, I mean, how long? So are they just keeping them separate until they have the fights, and then they will merge it after?
They got to eventually then just merge it.
Well, surely. What it says here, because obviously it's a lot to read up on, so I'm trying to read up a lot about it. So they said that they're going to launch a Bellator International Champions Series consisting of fight events each year, hosted in cities worldwide. So it looks like that they're still going to keep with the PFL league system the way it does now. So it's 4 fights a year, like 3 points for a win, 2 points for a draw. I don't know how the pointing system works to then go to win $1 million. But they're also having the Bellator thing around the world. So it'd be very interesting to see how that works out in the end. Because let's be honest, like, I think with the merger, you're going to see some super fights that we didn't think were even possible, like even like a year, 18 months ago. Like for me, like now you can do, I know she lost in the PFL, but Kayla Harrison, Chris Cyborg, you can finally get that super fight that we couldn't get. You could get, obviously PFL don't have a middleweight division, so you can't have anyone go up against Johnny Eblin, but you can get Ryan Bader potentially fighting Francis Ngannou. Like, so super fights that you didn't think were possible are now going to be possible because of this merger.
Who carries PFL? Is it DAZN? Are they the main carrier?
I think
they've got ESPN stuff as well, because
yes, you're right.
They've got a similar deal with the UFC.
Yeah,
we've got the ESPN and sort of, yeah, you know how Dana is. Like, Dana doesn't want anyone sort of fishing around on his turf.
But with ESPN, they're just going to show more UFC stuff. Then they're not going to really promote it. I don't know. This is down to how they promote their organization from now on. See, I would try and be completely different to UFC. I would want to be the alternative. That's similar what they should look at.
WWE and AEW, right?
Yeah, be the alternative that people are getting fed up with UFC. You know, people getting fed up with, like, you know,
matchmaking.
They want ground strike. People want ground strikes. Don't matter if your knee's on the floor. You know, it might sound barbaric, but some fans hate it. They like, let's change it. Why can't we have 12 to 6 elbows? You know you know, we can do other things that are dangerous. You know, maybe they can be an alternative where they got a different bit of a rule set that's a little bit different, still aligned to, you know, all the licensing and all that and all the rules that they have to abide by. But surely they got to do something that makes them alternative that people go, it's not just that, Francis Ngannou's go over, I'm going to go and watch, because no one does. No one watched the fight with Tyson Fury. No, he's not a draw. So they got to do something to make themselves stand out that is an alternative for people, because like in wrestling as well, WWE is the UFC of wrestling, basically. It's the biggest brand around. But people get sick and tired of some of the ways they do it there. So they want an alternative. So they went to AEW, and that's their alternative. And now they've got a great niche there, and they've got Wembley cards and stuff like that. And they've grown massively because they're not exactly the same. I think that's what they got to do. They got to find their niche and then be an alternative.
I hear that, but you mentioned Francis, and I think you're right. Going into the Fury fight, he wasn't a massive draw. However, coming out of it, it could be. But one person we keep on forgetting, and we're not going to go into too much detail. Spoiler alert, we're going to be speaking about this in much greater detail on Luke's channel. But could Jake Paul really be a factor in this as well? If you look at the two rosters, in terms of fighting talent, obviously not there, but in terms of star power, could you not argue Jake Paul, apart from Conor McGregor, is the biggest star contracted to an MMA organization?
That's what they should do. Get Jake Paul to fight Conor McGregor and not the PFL. Conor McGregor's got
what happens?
They got three. He's got 3 fights left on his deal, ain't he?
Who?
Conor. I think he's got 3 fights left.
Yeah, Conor said that he's a UFC guy for life.
Yeah, Conor loves money, and if PFL are owned by and if they're offering,
show me the money, PFL.
If they're offering,
give me Nate the trilogy.
Can you imagine if Conor went over to there and gets $1 million buy rate? Then Dana's worried. But till something like that happens, I don't think Ngannou fights again. MMA. He's 10th ranked in WBC now. He'd be stupid to go backwards.
Yeah, I hear that. You mentioned Nate Diaz there, Luke. So I'm going to start with you. Ariel Helwani was on the Sugar Sean O'Malley show recently. I was speaking about Nate Diaz and the fact that there are plans for him, but he wasn't at liberty to speak of it. Now, he left the UFC to take the Jake Paul fight, took the Jake Paul fight, got loads of money. They were talking about having a rematch in MMA. Doesn't seem like that's going to happen. Who, in your opinion, or in fact, what, in your opinion, do you think Nate will do next? Do you think he'll be boxing again, or do you think he'll be back in MMA?
I think he'll be back in MMA. To be honest, he's probably looking to see how McGregor comes back against Chandler at UFC 300. Because we all pretty much know McGregor's not fighting at that championship level anymore. I think we can all be honest. He's not going to fight for the belt again. Unless it's unless Dana really wants to give him the title shot.
If he beats Chandler, he gets that title. We are
probably going to get that trilogy. We are probably going to get that trilogy back end of 2024. Personally, or I had another idea. In my head, I know that there is a certain Michael Venom Page that is a free agent mulling over what he wants to do. He's not confirmed that he is going to the UFC. He's not confirmed that he's going to PFL so you could get Nate Diaz versus MVP in the UFC, or you can get it in the PFL super fight division. That's a possibility. Or he fights one of the Bellator legends like a Douglas Lima, Logan Storley, or the champion that literally just got KO'd. Was it?
It's not Nemkov, is it?
No, Amasov, the Ukrainian.
Oh, okay.
The fighter that got knocked out this past weekend. So he's got options. I don't think he'll box again. There'll be MMA for him.
Jay, do you agree with Luke? Do you think it'll be MMA again, or do you think he delves back into the boxing world again?
What, Nate? He should just retire. Personally, I just think.
I hear it. I personally think it's just a McGregor fight out there for him.
Yeah, I think nothing look, we're pure MMA fans, so for Nate, there's nothing that interests me for him apart from McGregor. I'm not interested in a Nate fight with anyone apart from McGregor in that first match.
What about Poirier? Sorry to cut you, Joe. What about Poirier, Joe?
UFC 300, can see that.
Nate Pure, don't know.
Poirier will be going up in weight.
Yeah,
Poirier has
look,
said
I
that
like
he is
Nate.
looking for 300.
I do like Nate, but just I don't think Nate takes that fight. To be honest, I don't know if Poirier I don't know if they take that
Poirier
fight.
wants it because they were rumored to have for him to fight. Was it beginning of last year or beginning?
Well, they
of
had a
this year?
fight signed at one stage and then it got cancelled.
Yeah.
Got injured.
I don't know. I just put Nate
had a
and
great
Nick,
idea.
put Nate and Nick in the tag team fight in the Misfits. I just I don't. That's what PFL should be competing with. They're competing with Misfits at the moment.
Whoa. Let's not do PFL dirty like that. They are not going to be competing with Misfits.
He's right with the buy rates, though. The buy rates for Misfits.
That's all they care about. All they care about is buy rates and demographic. That's all they care about.
Not buying Bellator for 200 to 300 million for you to compete with Misfits.
Well, they're a viable company at the moment that does 1.3 million pay-per-views a lot of the time. So, I mean, it's what they got to compete with. You're competing against everyone. That's the thing with sport now. You're competing against everyone. But I don't know what Nate like. I don't want. The thing is, at the same time, I don't want the PFL just to go and buy a load of free-up, recognizable MMA fighters that ain't really got it in them anymore at the same time, because then that makes them like Bellator was at the beginning of Bellator when they're just getting all
Derek
these old
Brunson
fights.
signed for PFL.
Has he?
Yeah, light heavyweight. Yeah,
it's just
so Derek Brunson moved over.
It's all people that can't draw shit.
Wow.
That's all it is. It's people that can't draw. They can't sell pay-per-views, can't sell shows, and they're just recognizable names. So they're trying to get that mythical, casual viewer in MMA that don't really exist.
Hey, if PFL really want to pull the boat out, just someone say, "Hey, has anyone got Brock's number?" Yeah, let's really pee off Dana. Hey, Brock, you want that Ngannou fight?
Look, when Ngannou went over to no one cared. Did care. I prefer him more in boxing now. I care more about him in boxing. Dana just got on with it. It's all right. We've got Tom Aspinall now, who's a superstar. So it just the machine rolls on. That's the problem. Like they leave all the time, and they just got a new superstar taking over. And they got Aspinall in there, who's probably going to go undefeated in every weight. He's the next superstar. The machine just keeps rolling on. Doesn't bother them. So it's going to be. I don't think they're ever going to be competition. It's just they need to be an alternative. That's how they compete. AEW don't compete.
On it. If it's good, I'll do content on it.
Yeah, but AEW are the second best wrestling organization in the world by none, right? And they've only been around 4 years, but they never, ever go overtake WWE because they're market leaders. They're huge. They're number one, and they always will be. And they know that. So what they're a brilliant alternative. Yeah. That's what I think they need to be. Don't worry about competing with Dana in UFC. They're number one, man. They're 30 years into this. Your money might come along, but the only thing it might spur on is if fighters do start to go, hang on, I can go over there and get 10 million a fight. It's something ridiculous like that. Yeah. That might be the only thing that makes Dana go, right, we'll pay you more. But then Dana might be like, if you want to go over there and no one will watch you can go.
That's true as well. It's a difficult one. So I also think another thing that PFL will need to do is really to hone in on and get almost homegrown talent, try and build stars from within as well. And I think the best way to do that is you go through channels in the media, you go through content creators. You see how big Nina is, for example, at the moment. We saw how Ariel Helwani became big in the game, and you got people like Luke Thomas, etc. I think PFL need to start telling the stories of some of these fighters now, because that's what UFC does so well. You look at the embedded series, you look at Countdown, you look at all the content that comes around fights. Like you build up a sense of almost like the person who's about to fight. So then you're emotionally invested. Now, PFL, obviously, they've got talented fighters. We've seen people come over from other organizations. Yuri Prohachka, for example, came over from Rising and won the championship within, 3-4 fights. So we know there's stupidly talented fighters outside UFC. We just don't know of them. We just don't know their stories. So I think PFL has to really hone in on that and really improve their marketing and strategy and storytelling. Because once they do that, then I think they compete. But I think you're right as well, Jay and Luke, to be fair. It don't get bigger than the WWE. It doesn't get bigger than the UFC. Like you see it now even in football, Liverpool and Man United. Man City are cooking books, but we're still the biggest two teams in the countries. Like you just
look at the Premier League.
Yeah.
Look how much money the Premier League makes.
Yeah.
You know, and receives and watched around the world. But it doesn't mean the Spanish league is terrible or the Italian league is terrible. It's just there's a number one in every product, and they're always number one. That's why the world is.
Speaking of someone who is number one at the moment, arguably, and that is Tom Aspinall. And he's been very vocal recently. Obviously, we saw him in one of the best interim title wins in recent history with a devastating KO of Pavlovich. And Tom's gone from, in the space of a couple of weeks, gone from being this quiet guy that has been loved to almost now he's speaking his mind, and people are starting to really dislike him a little bit. He had the little back and forth joke with Nina, which I think really got blown out of proportion because people didn't watch the full video. But also he's been very vocal about John Jones, and I think he's done it. He's the thing I like about Tom, he's straight talking, he's assertive, he's respectful, but he tells it like it is as well. And look, we've spoken about it.
So far, he's backed his talk.
Yeah, and he has. And you look at it, and he's right. And we were speaking about this before we started the show. The whole John Jones situation with Miocic and Aspinall and all these other heavyweight, it's not looking good. And you look at UFC 300, which is a nice crossover subject here. In an ideal world, you're looking at someone like Aspinall, who's just won the interim belt. He could either headline or co-main event that event. But do you really have an interim title match? Is the interim title being defended? Because that's crazy to me. Or am I just being old-fashioned, guys?
No, you're right. Interim's number one contender. It's as simple as that. What Dana wants his legacy fight, like Aspinall said. He wants Jones and Stipe, right? Which means Stipe, if the way it's going to work, Dana's only looking for Tom Aspinall to fight twice in 2 years. It's pathetic.
That's crazy.
You can't do it.
Dana's got another idea.
In the world.
Dana's got one idea, and one idea only. How do I get John Jones to retire on top? Give him a legacy fight against Stipe, which should have happened 6 years ago. A fight that we all pretty much know John Jones is going to kill him inside a round. And John Jones is going to go, I'm done. I'm retired. I beat your heavyweight goat. Now I'm the goat. Now leave me alone. I'm going to go off to do my own thing. When have you ever seen Dana being like that to a legend on the way out? Give him an easy fight for you to then say you can ride off in the sunset. Dana has never done that with GSP. Look how pissed Dana was when GSP beat Johnny. Was it Jimi Hendrix?
And Bisping.
Johnny Hendrix and Bisping. He was pissed because he wanted him out of there. Same with Anderson Silva. Just like, see you later, Anderson. Yeah, piss off. I got stopped by Uriah Hall. Yeah, see you later. Goodbye. Dana's more than happy to dash legends out the door. No questions asked. Like, do not be surprised if when Tony Ferguson loses to Paddy Pimblett, Dana's kicking him out the door. Thank you very much. No more. John Jones.
I think that might be the wise move, though, from where just
himself. Don't worry, I can put the division on hold for a year. That's all right. I'll beat Granddad Stipe, and then he'll bounce off into the to the sunset, and he can go sniffing and inject into his heart's content with all the. Calvin might be melting a few USADA cups when he's retired. Pause. But for the way
look,
it is, he should be stripped because it should be John Jones. Give Tom Aspinall what he rightly deserves. Let him fight Stipe for the full belt. Then be like, John Jones, see you soon. It's not going to happen. Aspinall will never get his fight with Jones because Jones is done. After this fight, he is done, and he'll be like, well, anyone that holds the belt, you're not going to be the world champ because I never dropped it. So see you later.
Well, John Jones ain't your legitimate champion because he never won it off a champion. This is the whole madness here. John Jones isn't a linear heavyweight champion. Ngannou is because he never lost it. You know, and then we've got this made-up legacy fight that no one cares about. John Jones he's had one heavyweight title. He's had one heavyweight match against a perfect opponent. And Stipe hasn't fought in 3 years. What is this legacy crap about? I don't care about it. No fan cares about this fight.
And that's not going to sell pay-per-views, by the way, Dana.
Heavyweight champion of the world. Like Tom Aspinall said, John Jones should have been stripped of the title because anyone with an injury like this is always stripped. Why is he not stripped? How can I not fight Stipe?
Yeah.
How can he not fight Stipe? It should be Aspinall Stipe at 300 for me. It's the main event of that card, right? That should be the main event of that card. The heavyweight title should be on the line. And then the winner, and then you have John Jones in the crowd, and Aspinall wins that fight. And then he calls out John Jones. John Jones gets in the octagon, and Aspinall and John Jones stare down to end UFC 300. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
But they're not. They're going to give him Cyril Gane, who he doesn't want.
But do they fight? I can't imagine a world
where co-main event for the interim belt when that gets headlined by McGregor Chandler.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I don't think anyone would actually have a problem with McGregor headlining, even if the heavyweight belt was on the line.
Because he's the star. Yeah.
Because he's the big star. And let's be honest, anyone who's on that 300 card with Conor, if they're a champion or going into it with a champion, they are getting paid. So I don't think they'd see a problem with that. But if said it again, we saw it with Henan Barral. He didn't, if I'm not mistaken, he didn't have to defend the interim belt. He won it and then he got made the champion.
Yeah.
Like Francis obviously left the organization, was stripped. There was no interim, it was straight to the undisputed. We saw Yuri Prohaska get injured, give up the belt. We saw TJ Dillashaw get done by USADA, had to be stripped of the belt. We saw Jamal Hill injured, stripped of the belt. Why is this not happening?
He decided to relinquish the belt. Yuri got injured, gracefully relinquished the belt, knowing that they'd get a title shot on their return.
Pick up Chris. He's such a troublemaker. I think, again, I hate to say, this feels like it's the whole vendetta against Ngannou thing. In Dana White's mind, he has to see it as, we lost Francis while he was champion. He's just gone and done what he's done in boxing. The only person I can have with the heavyweight champion where people aren't questioning and going, well, Francis is still the baddest man in the world, is John Jones. Because as much as we rate Aspinall, we have to be honest, he hasn't proven he's the baddest man in the world yet because he hasn't fought a Jones or an Ngannou. Not his fault. But he hasn't. Whereas Francis has fought everyone else and has just gone over to a different sport and, in my opinion, beat their heavyweight champion. So I think Dana's missing a trick here because right now, in my opinion, I think he should be focusing on building Aspinall into a star. And I think he's actually going the other way around. I think he's actually going to potentially dim Aspinall's light, which is very short-term thinking, which isn't usually like Dana. So given that, do you think it is going to be locked in that Aspinall fights on that card on the co-main with McGregor and Chandler?
Well, UFC have just put Cyril Gane to number 2 ranked heavyweight.
Oh, what, over Pavlovich?
Yeah, they've just changed it. So John Jones champion. John Jones champion. Obviously, Aspinall's 1 and Gane's 2. And last week,
not even putting him in the IC.
Last week, Gane was still 4. So I think we can all tell where Dana wants this to go. He wants 1 versus 2.
How the hell is Gane been moved up above Pavlovich?
So Cyril Gane will be fighting. I mean, Aspinall don't want it, but Aspinall's also said, I've had too many layoffs. I need fights. and I don't want to fight Cyril Gane because he's called him out for years.
Went to
Gane never
France.
wanted to touch
He went
him.
to France, yeah.
Yeah,
The
and
France called him out, and he was like,
well,
yeah. No.
And Gane's calling him out now because he's got the title. So he's saying, I don't want Gane. I just want Stipe and Jones. I've beaten everyone else. You know, if you look at the list.
Yeah.
He
Gone
has,
through it.
he slept
The
quite
only
a lot.
person that could be like, I want a title shot, an interim belt shot would be Curtis Blades. Because he beat him with an injury.
Yeah.
Like, if he wanted to run that narrative, I'd be like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Okay,
Curtis
cool.
Blades
I'm fine with that. Curtis Blades, Aspinall. I'm fine.
Yeah, they've made.
But
Really,
this,
that's another thing again. Why hasn't Gane ever fought Blades as well?
because
they boost Stipe up
you saw against the
before.
Jones fight, he's got, as Khabib said to McGregor, grappling 0. No grappling for him. He's not even been to wrestling
I'll
classes.
tell you what. Look, they've moved Stipe out the 4 somehow as well. Who ain't 43 years. You can see what Dana's trying to
where's
do.
Pavlovich now, bro?
Hang on, let me just get it up.
Should be free,
So Sergey's third. So John Jones champion, Aspinall first, Gane second, Sergey third, Stipe fourth, Blades fifth.
Pavlovich versus Almeida, isn't it?
How on earth is Gane moved ahead of Pavlovich?
Harry Stipe in the top 10. He ain't 43 years.
Yeah, that's wild as well.
How's he ranked?
And I know Dana will say, I know Dana will say, obviously the rankings aren't him. He has a big say. He picks it though. I mean,
have you seen Dana's War Room where he has everything?
Yeah.
He has the rankings. Come on, he knows what he's. How did Cyril get out of the 2 all of a sudden?
That's wild, man.
Because he had a few beers and went, hold on, that looks a bit out of place here, lads. Hey, Hunter, move him to number 2.
I'm trying to think. Like Sergey, he obviously beat Sergey.
He's fighting Almeida next.
Almeida, yeah, but Almeida. If Almeida loses to Thingy, he's already beaten him as well. How do you pronounce his name? Spivak. He's already beaten Spivak.
Yeah.
So Tom's already beaten him.
Just beat
So
Blades. So you're going to give Pavlovich Almeida. That's how it's going to end up.
I've never seen a heavyweight champion have to fight very low-ranked fighters to get a fight.
It's wild. I mean, I don't know. I think they're really missing a trick here.
Absolutely madness.
Really missing a trick here of Aspinall. I think they could really make Aspinall into the next big star, but I think they're going to waste the opportunity potentially.
The best heavyweight in the division by a mile.
Yeah. Obviously, he still has to prove it against Cup, but that if he's not,
got to prove it against John. That's it, really.
Well, here's the thing. You're right though, because you're both right. Because you said Miocic, Jay. Luke, you said Blades. Both those fights make sense because Miocic was meant to get the title shot, but Jones pulled out injured. You fight Miocic, he's a legend. Yeah. In the same way you want Jones to get that rub, Aspinall gets that rub. If he fights Blades, there's a backstory there. He fought Blades in England, blew out his knee. Blades is the only person that's quote unquote beating him, but he's also a wrestler as well. If he goes out and destroys a wrestler, what does it do? It builds the Jones fight as well. So both those two build the Jones fight. The Gane fight doesn't build a fight with John Jones.
No, it'd be an exciting fight.
But because even if he goes out there and beats him in the first round, it's like, oh well, Jones did that. So what do we learn here? What do we get from this? He should be fighting Miocic or Blades because that builds the story.
It should be Stipe. Stipe's the only fight that makes sense. He's the interim heavyweight champion. You know, he would annihilate. If he fought, I don't know if Dana's just worried because I think Tom Aspinall absolutely annihilates Stipe because he's too slow. Aspinall is so quick.
Hey, Dana's pushing Jones out the door. As soon as that Stipe fight ends, Dana's saying, "You."
I don't know. I think if John Jones said he'd continue fighting, I think he will.
Hey, don't listen to a word he says. Do not listen to a word that guy said. He said he was willing to move up to heavyweight a decade ago in 2013.
That's right.
And he lied because he knew if he went up to heavyweight back in 2013, he would have gotten smoked in 2013 if Jones went up to heavyweight, as he said he would. So, hey, Jones is dipping after the Stipe fight. He's fighting Grandpa Stipe, cement his legacy, and he's going to ride off into the sunset. Like we always say that fighters should, if they get the opportunity to ride off into the sunset. Not like this, man. Not like this. you're devaluing a division on the way out because of Dana's petty. I thought Dana's a businessman. Do what's best for business. But he's doing what's best for his ego and yeah.
If we look at it, Stipe Jones would probably fight September, October
International
time,
Fight Week.
2024. September, October time, 2024.
That's the earliest.
And then that's the earliest, exactly. Otherwise, it's Christmas time next in 2024. Then you're looking at, well, what does Tom do? Because that means he won't fight till 2025.
That's wild.
So he needs to have
an event of that card because I reckon.
And I can guarantee you, if he doesn't fight, they take his interim belt away.
That's such a bad.
So he's got to fight. He's got no choice. He don't want to do it. He's got no choice to fight Cyril Gane. He'll fight Cyril Gane mid 2024, around April, May time, in my opinion.
Then he'll fight co-main on the Stipe Jones card, defend his interim belt against Blades.
And then he's probably got Jones Stipe. It's madness.
I hope Stipe beats Jones.
Stipe should be fighting.
Just so Dana's face and go, eh?
It should be Stipe. It has to be. It has to be Stipe. Stipe Aspinall. Then John Jones fights Aspinall after he's completely demolished Stipe. And that's your fight. That's your heavyweight division. And then I think Aspinall completely walks over John Jones as well, personally. But I think it's dangerous for John Jones to fight Aspinall. He's too strong.
I think it'd be a bad move. Just before we wrap up, boys, obviously Paul Craig fought at the weekend, just gone. Unfortunately, didn't get the win. He'd moved down from light heavyweight to middleweight to chase this dream of being a world champion. We don't often see it. Very rare that you become a world champion in the population of fighters. Do you think this is it now for Paul Craig? Like, do you think he should kind of call it a day rather than just being sort of a gatekeeper / mid-ranked fighter?
You don't want to be a gatekeeper, does he?
Yeah.
I mean, is he choked out?
Yeah, he got choked out.
Yeah, got choked out. I didn't watch him for that fight.
It was easy as well.
Yeah,
do you know the fight he had
very
in
heavy
UFC
grappling.
London?
Yeah.
Against, was it
Ankalaev.
Uzdemir? He literally did a carbon copy. Striking was poor. Wanted to take it down to the ground. But Allen, unlike Uzdemir,
is a black belt.
Actually went for the finish. Uzdemir was just happy to stay in guard because he was just worried that he was going to get caught with a last-minute triangle.
Yeah.
But I was so disappointed in Paul Craig watching that watch-along. Like, I was so disappointed because this was your opportunity. Was your opportunity. You beat a guy like Brendan Allen, who's 10-2 in the division at the moment. His only losses were 2 stoppages to Chris Curtis, who he fought on 2 weeks' notice, and then he got stopped by Sean Strickland. And I was like, this is a perfect opportunity to cement yourself into the top 10, and you're probably a fight away from the title. But for me, he's blown it. I think he mentioned last year that he was going to give it one more year to retire. So I don't know what he's going to do. Is he going to stick at middleweight? Or is he going to go back at the light heavyweight? I don't know what he's going to do, but he's going to be fed to like a Bo Nickel, a Joe Pyfer. If he goes up to light heavyweight, he'll be fed to one of the up and comers. So yeah, he'll be a gatekeeper if he's not careful. So I think he should. Get him to fight in Scotland. I think they were rumored to going to Glasgow. Let him headline Scotland and say, yeah, you're having this, and then you're done.
Yeah, I think he might have to be timed. I like Paul Craig. I don't want to see him just loitering about. He's had such a weird career, though. You think he's got wins over Jamal Hill and Ankalaev and moved down to middleweight where he looked like he'd become a real problem, but this didn't work out for him, which is a real shame.
Do you hear about they're trying to get Grasso Whaley fight?
Oh.
There's a rumour that they might be trying to get them two together.
So what's happening with Valentina?
Because they're 1 and 2 on the pound for pound list, ain't they? So,
come on already, man. Whaley's still got business to do at 115. Grasso's still got work to do at 25. Like let's.
But they're looking for big fights, ain't they?
This double champ thing is it's losing its prestige for me now because
Well,
losing its
Bisping-
shine. Like, let things
Bisping
cook.
said that today. Bisping said that today. He said you should only go for double champ status when you cleaned out your division.
yeah, like I understood why they did it with Connor because no one else had done it. And you think, do you know what? If anyone can do it with the hype he's got, with how he's starching people, and let's be fair, he actually did clean out 45. He cleaned out the 45 division on the way to the belt. The only person he didn't beat in that run was Frankie Edgar because they weren't matched up. So he cleaned out his division. Volk cleaned out his division. GSP cleaned out his division.
But
You can argue
GSP
Pereira didn't, but Pereira actually moved up in weight. He didn't try and go for
GSP
champion.
didn't do what people want to do now. They want to have one belt and then get the other. GSP retired, then came back.
Yeah,
For middleweight, wasn't like a simultaneous champion. That's why I did the video on the Leon Edwards thing. Like, that's not gonna lie. Like people were rooting for you because you didn't get the title shot. Now you're gonna deny fighters a title shot because you want to chase the champ at 85. The same with Islam. Yes, Islam. I know you've just had you beat the pound for pound fighter twice, and you started Oliveira, but there's still fighters at lightweight that you need to go through before.
Well, did you hear why Thingy wants to move up the middleweight?
Why? Because there's no one at 170.
Because if Edwards beats Colby, he's apparently his next fight is Bilal, but he says he's already done like.
He didn't beat Bilal.
MMA doesn't work. Like, just because you've had a good showing doesn't mean that you're going to start.
He got stopped that fight, if I remember rightly, didn't it?
Yeah, eye poke. Really bad eye poke.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: Leon was destroying him in the first round, but I mean, how many fights have we seen where one fight has been destroyed in the first round and then by the fifth round it's a completely different fight? And Leon knows that as well. Like, Leon was losing every round bar one against Usman the first time round, was losing the fifth round and comes out with a sensational KO win. So for Edwards to say that, he's better than that for me.
Yeah, the thing with Edwards though, you look at his division he's in there, and obviously Bilal's 2, Usman's 1. He's done Usman twice. So the Bilal fight is the one that makes sense if he beats Colby.
Look at the up and comers coming up, like they're hungry.
Gilbert Burns, I don't know. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, he doesn't. He's just
That's
a
only
gatekeeper
if he's
now.
Shavkat.
And the other fight, I suppose, is Jeff Neal. But
so Shavkat, Ian Gary, they're starting to move up now as well.
Yeah,
I do think Bilal is owed a title shot. I got to be honest. I think he is.
I think it will be Bilal next.
It has to be. If he beats Bilal and then there's no clear number one contender after, if he beats Colby and then beats Bilal and there's no clear number one contender, then I'd back it.
To be fair,
then I'd back it. But right now he can't beat Colby and deny Bilal.
For me personally, he needs to beat Colby, beat Bilal, and then fight the winner of Wonderboy and Shavkat at UFC 296. Because I believe that fight will be a number one contender's bout for the, in the future, unless they're going to match them up against Bilal.
They'd be doing Bilal dirty if they did that.
I don't think Wonderboy's going to get another title shot anytime soon.
No. I think Shavkat's going to finish him, and it's not going to look pretty.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a gatekeeper now. But there's no one. He's done Usman twice. I mean, that's done.
Yeah.
If he beats Colby, he's beaten the two best in that weight division. So it's just, I can understand why he wants to move up because there's more things for him. You got the fight with, you got a possible fight with
Strickland. I think they just look at Strickland as easy money. I think
he's looking at Izzy.
It's a difficult matchup, for for Leon like that.
Yeah.
That style. Look how Strickland with a 6-week camp dealt with Izzy. I'm not saying that he'd deal with Leon with that level of ease, but that's a nightmare matchup. Leon Duplessis, nightmare. Leon Strickland, nightmare.
With Strickland,
Leon Whitaker, nightmare.
I think Strickland had a Matt Serra moment. I think
he just had a Matt Serra.
I think he just had a Matt Serra moment where I don't think Izzy took him seriously at all. I think Izzy thought I could just beat him with other kip. I don't think he took him seriously, but I don't actually mind Leon Edwards thinking moving to middleweight actually, because if you've beaten Colby and you've beaten Usman, And then the Bilal fight on the record, you know, it says he won. I mean, Gilbert Burns is old. Wonderboy Thompson is a gatekeeper. You look down it, you got Ian Gary, maybe. Neil Magny.
That's a bubbling feud.
Yeah, maybe Ian Gary's the only other fight, really, apart from Bilal, and that's it. And then he's looking at middleweight and thinking, I match up perfectly with Izzy.
Yeah, but I don't think Izzy's coming back to middleweight. I think Izzy's going up to 205. I don't think he'll dance at middleweight again. He's taken so much time off. I think there's a reason why he's going to take time off.
He's
chasing that trilogy.
I don't think bulking up would do him any good, you know.
Neither do I.
I think it's slow.
I don't know what he's going to do, but obviously the Pereira thing, Izzy, stop trolling, man. Like, stop trolling us thinking that he's rent free in your head. Like, you literally go to sleep and Alex Pereira's face is in your dreams.
He's probably in his house.
Real, man. Like, give the fans what they want, and we want a trilogy. Like, give us what you want, man. Like, stop playing around. Like, give us what you want. Like Batista, give me what I want.
I'll be honest. As an Izzy fan, I don't want that trilogy at 205. I'm just gonna be as honest as possible. Pereira at 205 is a completely different animal. Completely. I am a massive Izzy fan. I rate him highly. I think there's an argument to make he is the greatest middleweight of all time. At 205 against Pereira, it's not going to end well. In fact, I'd go as far as saying I think he sleeps him.
Pereira ain't losing that title anytime. Ain't fighting that maniac. No, I don't think
it's difficult in a couple of fights time, because there's there's a couple of wrestlers in that division that, like an Ankalaev, like a Blachowicz, if they rematch, like there's a few people that will test that grappling.
They're gonna get close to him though. We've seen he's happy to stay in and defend.
He's happy to grapple. He's happy to grapple now.
He's happy to just defend because he knows every single round starts standing up. So
it's defense. He's so long.
Yeah,
He's so long. And let's face it, Pereira's got so much power in short shots.
Yeah,
he's got so much power in short shots. So
I just have to say, Hamzat, pick a division. Stay in your division.
Yeah.
Stop calling out Alex Pereira because you're starting to cheese me off now.
Oh, Pereira will kill him. I actually want to see it. No, do it. I want
at 205. There's no way Hamzat wins that fight at 205.
Hamzat won't have the stamina. He'll be dead after 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Pereira will destroy it.
One takedown and just go, brother. I'm done.
I mean, with all due respect to Hamzat, he struggled with Usman, who came up from welterweight with 9 days notice. Give Pereira full camp to fight Hamzat at 205. I'm sorry, Hamzat does not want that smoke.
I can see him walking onto that left hand. Boom.
Walks onto anything.
This pay-per-view we got coming up on the 17th of December.
Oh, it's
this
glorious.
Card is legit.
It's glorious. Even the fight night coming up in the second, I think the 2nd of December. Beautiful fight.
Song Gertes or whatever his name is.
Yeah, but it's back in the Apex. It's not in China anymore.
Oh, Dariush.
It's not in Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
Dariush.
A great fight night as well.
Dan Hooker, Bobby Green.
Oh, that's a fight. That's going to be the next two cards are going to be brilliant.
Sean Brady, Calvin Gastelum.
Yeah.
So tempted.
That's a pay-per-view card.
Yeah.
That's a
I'm so tempted to do a watch long for that event. That event looks stacked.
It's a pay-per-view card, man.
It's looking tasty. But boys, before we sign out, I've got to say thank you as always. Where can the people find and support you? Luke, I'll start with you.
You can find me on the Luke Tanner channel. I did a watch along for the UFC fight night the past weekend. And obviously I'm doing more regular uploads now. So stay tuned. I've got a video coming out tomorrow
Jake
about
Paul.
who should Jake Paul be fighting in his MMA debut in 2024.
Lovely, lovely. And Jay, where can the people find and support you, bro?
Yeah, you can find me at Jamie Phillips Football Chats. I've got a channel announcement coming out at the end of the week. So yeah, watch out for that.
Okay.
It might be a merch
You're
store.
gaming now.
It might be a merch store opening. No, it might be a merch. There may be a merch store opening. So yeah.
Whoa, okay. Just in
Coming up
time
with
for Christmas as well, yeah? I like it. I like
Get
it.
them Jamie Phillips condoms.
Yeah, I don't. How would you sell? I'd be intrigued to see how you'd sell that one. Like,
I was thinking of doing a video, but I don't know.
Hey, you'd be cancelled real quick.
yeah. Oh, that'd be epic in so many different ways. That'd be epic. But no, guys, much appreciated. For you guys in the chat, P. Owl, Liverpool 12th man, Chris Brack, Calvin. I saw Theo, Bonkers LFC. Have I missed anyone? I don't think so. But for everyone watching, please do smash the like button. More importantly, head over to Luke's channel, head over to Jamie's channel. Link is in the title of this video. So you just click there, subscribe, switch on notification bell, support the guys. And we'll be back very soon. Make sure you check out Luke's new video on Jake Paul coming out this week. And also, Jamie is announcing a channel announcement as well. So people, thank you guys for watching. Till we see you next time. Take care. Have a good one.